Hi everyone, my name is An Nguyen and I am with FEW Women with a Mission chapter and I'm the chapter president. Brittany.
I'm Brittany Brown. I am the secretary of Women with a Mission chapter.
Hi, I'm Andrea Sterinsky. I'm the communication chairperson of FEW Women with a Mission chapter.
Hey everybody, my name is David Smith. I am the treasurer for the Women with a Mission chapter of FEW. And right now, I am the only male member of Women with a Mission. So, hey, guys.
So here with Women with a Mission, we have had over 40 members. We were created in 2008. And fun fact is the majority of our members are lifetime members, so they're not going anywhere.
Our membership continues to grow and we want you to join us. So if you're interested, we have a slot for you. Come on out and join the Women with a Mission chapter.
And keep an eye out for our upcoming podcast this year.
Oh, and you know what? If you want to join us, David right here is also our membership chair. So hit him up.
Yep, come on everybody. Come on, especially you guys. Don't let me be the only man in this organization right now. We're having a lot of fun. Come on and join us.
So PBGC, welcome to FEW's first podcast. It's not really a podcast in the true sense, but we wanted to give our faces so you'll know who we are and who we represent. I am Martha Threet. I'm the executive sponsor of FEW at PBGC. And we're going to talk about today all the women in our lives that have inspired us in honor of Women's History Month. So who's going to kick it off for us? We'll talk to Brittany Brown first. So Brittany, tell us, who are some of the women or the main woman in your life that has inspired you?
Hi, everyone. My name is Brittany Brown. I am the secretary for FEW. So of course I've had role models personally, my mom, my grandmother, those in my family. But for me, the more impactful women when it comes to my career were actually two women I met when I came to PBGC. The first was Melanie Carter. Melanie, who's also a member of FEW, was my first, I'll say, engaging supervisor. I came in under Dave Gill and Janet Grant Bennett, who both retired not long after I came into PBGC as a student in 2009.
Brittany, I came in as a student too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I actually came in under the Pathways program, but I don't know. Did you come in under Pathways or which one did you come in under?
So no, in 2009, it was called the Student Career Experience Program, SCEP. I don't know how they differ. I hear it's different nowadays, but no, I came in under.
Now, was that a government program? Was that a government program? I know DC City has programs, but was that a government program or was that?
That was government.
Okay.
It was federal government. So yeah, I actually got the announcement from a friend of mine. Someone had sent it to her. She was away at school. I came back home to finish college, and I came in for my interview. And when I came on board, I was told that I was actually not the first pick. The person that they chose didn't return their phone call. So I was like second in line, but it was for me. So here I am 11, 12 years later. I don't know.
Well, we're happy to have you.
Thank you.
Happy you're here.
So yeah, so Melanie was my first engaging supervisor. Melanie pretty much, kind of took me under her wing when she came into the department in retiree services division at the department at that time. She would sit me down and talk to me and ask me about, things that I wanted to do and my career moving forward. This was before I knew that I would be a permanent government employee. I was still a student, and she gave me an opportunity to kind of showcase some of the skills and talents that I told her about and the things I would like to do.
Tell us, what are some of those things? What are some of those things that, Melanie saw in you that you think other people may not have saw or seen that, pivoted you to the next level, that encouraged you?
So for me, it was the fact that, Melanie did that with all of her staff. She kind of took, time to talk to everybody and figure out what it is, what their passions was, what they enjoyed. And she made working fun. So for me particularly, at that time, I've always had like a creative mind. So she would let me, create things for our staff meetings and team team building exercises and icebreakers. So wherever there was an opportunity to kind of be creative, she would pull me in to do those types of things. Our bulletin board. So just, just being able for me not to say, oh, yes, I can do that, but actually showing that I can do it. And then talking to me about moving up, if you want, because again, I was still a student. So if you decide to stay with the federal government, where do you see yourself in 5 days, 3 years, 10, moving forward and not sticking in the present. So for that really kind of challenged me because again, I was 20 or 21. So it's like, I'm just coming back home. I don't, I'm just trying to live.
You don't know what you want to be when you grow up at 21. I mean, you're still living.
Right. No, I didn't have a child then. I didn't have any responsibility. Right. So that was, and then in working with Melanie, I was introduced to Rita Boswell, who used to work with PBGC. Rita retired and unfortunately passed away not even a year after her retirement. But when I was put on board with Rita was the safeguard director at the time. So she dealt with a lot of PII information. So I was coached in that, being able to safeguard information and using PICS, which was the personal interest conflict system. Is that right, David?
Oh, perfect. Yeah. Perfect.
PICS. So, just pretty much that was if you worked with the agency, but someone in your family was owed a pension from PBGC, you couldn't work those cases. And then Rita always encouraged me. She's the reason I actually became a level 2 core. When I was still in school, Rita found out I was taking contracting and it was just an elective. I'm like, I needed to graduate. I don't care.
But I know about a lot of those.
Right. So I was like, whatever. I just want to be done with Bowie State. And it was like, no, go take PBGC offers a contracting class. So I took the 40-hour and then that gave me level 1. And then whenever there was an opportunity for me to gain a contract or work on a contract, even on Rita's contract, she was like, I want you to be my alternate core. So that pushed me, to continue training. And then I eventually became a level 2 and I still maintain my level 2. I finally got myself down to 1 contract. At one time, I think I had 4, 5.
Ooh, yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, I had, I think, all of our interagency agreements with Social Security Administration. So, but yeah, Rita, whatever was there, she would say, go take the training, go learn something, so what if you can't apply it now? You'll be able to apply it later. And for me, it was just like, okay, I mean, whatever, but I'm glad I did because it's so much that I learned then I can use now at this point in my career, or I've used over the last 10 years, 10 plus years. So yeah.
Very good. Well, welcome. And I'm glad that you took the student program way in, because that is that's a pretty significant feat. Not a lot of people are able to achieve that and get into the government. So Andrea, you have a unique story too, because you came in through the Pathways program. So talk about who inspires you. And I think one of the reasons you did the Pathways program is because your mom, right?
Yep, she was an intern too. So I started at PBGC in 2015, but my mother started with the federal government in 1989 with the Department of the U.S. Navy. So I remember when I graduated from college in 2015, I was still trying to figure out what path I wanted to go down. And so she kind of just gave me some guidance and told me what she did. And so I applied for internships and how I ended up at PBGC. But what I think is pretty impressive about her is that now she's a director of contracts at Centers for Medicare and Medicaid. And it's pretty, what's incredible about her story is that you can really start as an intern, then work your way up. And so what's motivated me with my career is that starting at a position, I was a GS5 when I started working my way up the GS ladder. It's kind of cool to see the potential. And so my mom's been a great role model in that sense. But aside from just the career growth, I think her personal life kind of motivates me in other ways too. And one thing she's really into is running. And she used to run a lot of marathons a few years ago. And I remember when I was a little kid going to the courses and having signs up for her and cheering her on. And those of you that don't know, a marathon is 26.2 miles, and that's a lot.
Barely walk a mile, so.
Yeah. She used to run the Boston Marathon, and Boston is considered the elite marathon. So to run Boston, you have to run a course before and qualify. And so for my age group right now, I had to run a marathon under 3 hours and 30 minutes. And so that's
you guys are awesome, because I'm not even running to the car and like that.
Right.
Well, that's what I thought too for the longest time. Because so when I started at PBGC, I was like, I would like to get like a hobby or something. And my mom was like, why don't you just try marathon? Go for it. And so I did an 18-week training program, and I ran the Baltimore Marathon that year. And I ran it in, I think, 4 hours and 39 minutes, 6 seconds. I was exhausted, never thought I was going to run another marathon. And we were kind of joking back and forth.
What did your mother say when you ran that slow time? Is she like Serena Williams, where she says, I'm going to beat you?
Well, she was proud of me, but she was like, I don't know if you'll ever beat my time. If you get into running, it might happen, but I don't know. And so, yeah, so I kind of thought about it. Maybe, I don't know, running wasn't something I was going to go down that path so much, but then it became addictive to me. I started running a lot more races. And 2 years ago, I ran the Shamrock Marathon down in Virginia Beach, and my mom was there the whole time supporting me, giving me high fives. And when I finished, she gave me a high five, congratulations. She goes, you just beat my time.
Yeah. Did you guys ever become competitive? Like, I'm better. I gotta beat you, Mom.
Well, funny thing is, I'm actually at her house right now, and she's downstairs running on the treadmill right now.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Yeah, we kind of push each other a little bit, but what's so awesome is that it's like healthy fun because we want to better ourselves, and so it's nice to have motivation going forward. And yeah, and so she's about to retire in 2 months, and she's like, you're making me want to get back into running. So it's kind of cool that comes full circle in a way. And I don't know if anyone's a runner out there, you might have similar kind of stories. Like, you have to push yourself in ways you never thought.
Yeah. That would be David Smith.
Yeah.
I'm a bike rider now and a walker. Yeah, I used to run. My father was a boxer, so I know where that pressure comes from. He was a boxer, so I went to the gym because he went to the gym, and so that one thing led to another. Yeah.
So, Andrea, how old were you when your mom ran the Boston Marathon? Do you remember?
It was in 2001 or 2002. And I was born in 93, so
yeah.
So I didn't go to that race, though, but I remember going to like the Baltimore Marathon she's done. My dad stayed home with us while she did the Boston, but we used to do them. There's marathons down in Disney.
Okay. So we're going to move on to our next person who wants to talk about the female that inspires him. And, it's interesting because I've only been with PBGC 7 years. And I have 2 very vivid memories of this individual. One, he carries a flip phone and it works. So the day he pulled that out and called Costco for our Roses for Few, I was like, oh my God, OMG. So, but the second time I was in the gym and he was trying to encourage me to run. So I thought that was interesting. So our next person is David Smith, and you've been a member of Few for a while too, right?
Yes. My name is David Smith. I am currently the treasurer for the Women with the Mission chapter of Few. I've been with Few probably 6 years. And yes, I do carry a flip phone, and it works.
I told you.
So, unlike the other 2 whippersnappers, I came to the federal government back in the time when you had to, well, yes, you had to take the civil service exam. We had to walk to work uphill both directions. So yeah, but my history is a little I have several women who've been very impactful in my life and in my career. And one of the first is my wife. Of course, before we got married, when I met her, I was very unfocused. And just the process of getting engaged and getting married, that is what had me focus on family and then focus on a career. So that's what led me to take the civil service exam and come into the federal government. I came to Pension Benefit Guaranty Corporation in 1988. Yeah. And at that time, the actual executive director of the agency was Kathleen Utgolf. And so that's the start of my view of corporate America was a woman. But the person that hired me, her name was Regina Wooden. And Regina, she reminded me so much of an aunt, because Regina, she was patient, kind. Even though she was my supervisor, she would teach me things, but then she would put up with so many of my pranks and practical jokes. And it's amazing. If it wasn't for her, my career would have ended within 6 months or whenever my period was up. But she was very patient with me. So that was a great way to come into the federal government. And then one of the next people who really started me going in my career was another supervisor. Her name was Anna Gilreath. At the time, she was the director of our case operations and compliance department. And Anna, she had a policy background, so she was a great writer. She actually took time to help me with writing resumes, to make sure resumes really got to the point that they could capture the things that a person looking for a hire would look for. So she did that. And she also taught me how to speak with focus so that I didn't lose an audience when I was trying to bring up a point, or if I'm in a presentation trying to deliver a message. And those things really started moving me out of, when I came to PBGC in 1988, I was a GS3 file clerk. And GS3, in that GS game, that was minimum wage. But in 2010, I was hired in a GS15 position. So the things that Anna Gilreath taught me, those are the things that started really moving me into the professional positions at Pension Benefit Guaranty Corporation. So Anna also, she recommended that I join our agency's mentoring program. So Anna had participated in the pilot program at PBGC, and she had nothing but rave reviews about that program. And so I took her advice, and I was in the first official mentoring program at PBGC, and I was paired with Kate Blunt. And Kate Blunt was a senior level leader. And so I had access at that point to a person at the highest levels at our agency. I had access to her opinions, her views, her visions, her wisdom, and I had access routinely. The things I learned with Kate were just tremendous. She taught me, one of the significant things she taught me about was planning, how to plan, how to vision, how to have plans that are based on a vision. And she had something funny that she used to say, because I would come up with these, this is the thing I want to do, this vision. And she would say, you got to be careful. You really want to hone in your vision, because even the homeless are debt free. And what you're trying to tell me is, don't just say you want to be debt free, because that path, it could take you in a direction you didn't plan for. So that was really significant. The other things really had to do with me listening. I listened differently after that mentoring experience with Kate. And she had a really good way of also, in the groups that she met with, of showing that she would tell me that people are the most valuable asset in anything that you want to achieve, is even in the federal government or private, where you have a lot of competition. She said the people are still the most valuable asset. So Kate, her being a mentor with her is the thing that really catapulted me. And the person that hired me, the funny thing is, the person that hired me into my GS15 position was one of Brittany's mentors, and that was Melanie Carter. So she's one of my mentors also. So thank you, Melanie. And that's it. That's my story. That's it.
Well, it sounds like, David, you had a lot of great mentors over the years that has helped you become more grounded. Would you say that? Is that a good way of putting it? Okay. Mm-hmm.
Talk about not knowing what you want to do when you grow up.
Exactly. And you're still trying to figure it out, I guess.
Yes.
With that flip phone, he can't figure it out because he's still using that flip phone.
Exactly.
Yes,
Exactly.
But I do enjoy. I enjoy a lot. I enjoy music, sports, running, boxing, kung fu.
Anything physical.
Mm-hmm. No, anything fun. Anything fun.
Okay. Yeah. Running a marathon, Andrea and David. That's not fun.
Yeah, that's not fun. That sounds.
That's why I ride a bike now.
Let's say, let's put the disclaimer, not to everyone. So,
that's true.
But we talked a lot about families, and everyone has a mentor within their family. And Anna, I know you have a story that you'd like to share, but also you have found a lot of mentors within PBGC. So tell us about that.
So for me, a huge impact for me would be, of course, my grandmother. She worked really hard. You know, we were a family of 4 when we first all came to America. We lived in a 1-bedroom apartment, 4 of us in 1 bedroom. My parents, you know, we didn't have a lot of money, so they would walk to work every day in the snow, in the blizzard, whatever it was. And it inspires me to do more, to be better, you know, and just work harder as an individual. And her death, like, severely, it put me into a very bad, like, time of my life where I didn't know what direction I wanted to do. I was in college and I kind of just wanted to get out, graduate, take the next best thing and just go. And so for a long time, I didn't know what direction I was headed, where my career path was. And if you know anything about the Asian culture, and I hate to say it this way, but Asians have really high expectations of their kids. You know, if you're not a doctor or a lawyer, or you're not making big bucks, it's kind of like, what are you doing with your life? Or it's really funny, like, you can graduate with a degree. I mean, you graduated with a bachelor and whatnot, but if you're not practicing whatever that degree is, they're like, so what are you doing, really? And I fall into that category. I got a teaching degree, but I never taught a day in my life, which is kind of funny, but you'll find out in a little bit.
Yeah. But when you say that now that you are more mature and you're older, the fact that you guys came to America, went through the struggle, your grandmother is now your motivation and inspiration for who you are today because you worked harder, right?
Definitely, because I want nothing more than for her to be proud of me. I've never had somebody go, I'm proud of you. You know, I'm proud of you for everything you've done.
Yes.
Well, I'm sure she is saying that. You know, I have a similar story. My grandmother died the year I graduated college. And you know, I'm from the deep South, North Carolina. And back when she was coming through, you know, there weren't a lot of opportunities for Black women other than being a housemaid. So when I graduated from college, you know, this is another cultural thing. She told me, baby, you're going to be able to do things I've never even dreamed about. She said, so you use that and you do what you have to do. So I'm just sharing you that story. Your grandmother may not have said it, but in that age bracket, you know, they had struggles that you and I will probably never even could imagine. So hold on to that. That's a lot to cherish. But you also have a few mentors at PBGC, right?
I do. I've had so many. And there's one person in particular. I had attended a panel discussion by Few a couple years ago when I first started at PBGC, and Judith Starr, she had mentioned a quote, and this quote stuck with me for a very long time. And she had said, if your dreams don't scare you, you're not dreaming big enough. I never really took much thought to that. I don't know why it always stuck with me though, until last year when I attended the national training program with you, I went to Philadelphia for a week. And why this is so significant, it's because I have never traveled a day in my life by myself. I had never taken the train by myself. Well, actually, I've never taken the train since, then. I've never left my kids. My son's 10 years old. Like, I've never left my kids, ever. Taken a solo vacation, never had any me time. So this was like, oh, I'm excited. I get a whole week, no kids, no husband, like nothing. I'm gonna have a blast, right? I got on that train and I'm like, yes, this is gonna be like the best, the most relaxing week of my life. Woohoo! Like everything. Well, as soon as I opened that door to that very first meeting, I was scared.
No way, not you. Not you. I found that hard to believe knowing and working with you the time that I've worked with you.
If you knew me when I first started, I was a huge introvert. Like, I would just sit in my little cubicle, do my thing, and not talk to anybody. I don't know anybody. So I've grown tremendously in the last 4 years, but especially in this last year. But I was so scared because there was a group, like it was over 1,000 women at that place, and I knew not a single person. I didn't sit with anybody. I was at a table all by myself. Well, actually, I lied. One person came up. She sat there for a little while, and then she left. And I was like, okay, cool, thanks. So after a while, I was like, okay, I can't do this anymore. So I'm gonna go back to my hotel room now and just chill out. Well, as soon as I got back, I had a full-blown meltdown. I kid you not. I was just like, okay, I think I'm gonna cry now. Yeah, I should go home. Maybe go home. I don't know, have my husband come pick me up. We're close enough. So I think if you're not scared, you're not stretching yourself, you're not growing. You have to challenge yourself to develop. So I just kind of went back out there the next day, met all these amazing people, by the way, just amazing people. I met all these past presidents. They introduced me to so many different people from all of these agencies. And I learned a lot. And I came back and I went up to Judith Starr, which I've never spoken to her in the 2 years that I worked in the GC. I was so scared to talk to her, but I was like, Judith, like, you have no idea, but your one quote has helped me made it through this week. And now I'm ready to do more scary things.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And you said you've never taught a day in your life, but you just taught a class on individual development. I don't know if you guys had an opportunity to attend, but Few hosted an IDP class and An was the facilitator. So she did an amazing job and we got a lot of great feedback. So you have put your degree and made your grandmother proud.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I've had so much fun. Like, I would never have known that I enjoyed facilitation so much. I actually found what I want to be when I grow up.
Oh, that is awesome. That's great. Mm-hmm. So I think that concludes our first podcast for Few. So I want to thank all of our participants, our board members for participating, being the guinea pigs. But please look out for more activities and more things that are sponsored by Few. You'll see at the end of this program a few things that we will be having going on during the month of March for Women's History Month. So please make sure you take note of that. But what is on the horizon? What do we have coming up next?
We do have a poetry contest coming up. You look out for that flyer on March 5th.
Oh, great. So we'll have that coming up, and we have a lot of other activities. So please pay attention to your email, pay attention to the inbox on the intranet, and we're just going to have fun.
Keep an eye out.
Yes.
Little 5K. Yes. Keep an eye out for June. It'll be announcements going forward.
Yes. So we're ramping up, and we're going to have a lot of fun this year. So please support Few and the women that are part of Few. And if you are not a member, we welcome everyone. So please register, join us, come aboard, and have fun with us. So thank you. And thanks, everybody. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.